on. Again, this is the arcade ROM, so unfortunately it's... Okay, so it's a port of the arcade, but I want to say it doesn't quite have the responsiveness of the Super NES version, if you can believe that. I'll have to go back and check, but I seem to recall the Super NES version having slightly better control with slightly less lag than this game does. I'm not sure. The lag isn't a big deal, but it's annoying for some versions of this game because some of the game strategies require you to mash on the attack button really fast. So that responsiveness is helpful. The game does have a compromise of sorts. Hardcore difficulty is the hardest difficulty. 1 life. No bonus lives. Let's set up infinite continues, though. I'm just curious to see how long each life lasts. Accept. Controller setup. We're going to set up rapid fire. We're going to turn on the rapid fire for this one. Because we're going to play as Cody. Back. Oh, the game's on autosave. Okay, bonus. What do we have to unlock? We unlocked tips already. If you get in trouble, punch, jump, and bunt. Yes, that's the Mega Crush. Attack everyone's around you, but you lose a little health, so don't use the attack too often. So basically, if you're surrounded, the game says press punch and jump at the same time. There's actually an easier way to do that. My strategy is to just hold down the jump button and then press attack while you're holding down the button, and you'll do the move a lot more easily and more consistently. So I guess the other tip is to hold down the attack button and then press jump. I'll try that out a bit later. But of course I have the rapid fire on, so it might not work that way. Pile driver, that's when you're using Hagar, of course. Press jump, and then while in the air, press punch. That's actually one of the best moves in the game, but it takes a bit of a setup. But it's pretty easy to do. It's actually one of the things that's great about this game, is that they made the controls so elegant that it's easy to do very simple things. But you need to do all those things to survive on the hardest difficulty level, because the game's a quarter muncher. So if you aren't somewhat strategic in your screen management, you are going to die pretty consistently in this game. Knife fighting. Cody's the only character who can fight with a knife without throwing it, and that's true. So you have to wait till the enemy is near you, then you can press the punch button. The obvious problem with that is that the game is kind of fuzzy on when you use a knife versus when you throw it. So I guess the game's logic is if you're within melee range, you will attack with the knife without releasing it. That seems to be the trick, but you know, it takes a while. It's a bit of nuance to it, so you have to practice that a bit. Off the wall, a guy can jump off any side wall, like Chun-Li and Vega in Street Fighter 2. He can't jump off the back wall. He can't jump off the wall in the background, but he can jump off the left or right side of the screens, even if there's no wall. So the idea is if you're on the edge of the screen, you can bounce off of it. Drop attack. Hold down and press jump, then hold down and press punch for a drop attack. Again, if you're Cody, you do a knee. If you're Hagar, you do a body splash, which knocks everyone down. More importantly, if you're Cody and you do that knee, if you hit them in midair with that knee, you can follow it up with a jump kick. So you can do a 2-hit aerial combo, which I'll probably do a couple of times in this video. This is actually one of the most basic combos in the game. It's a combo you should learn because it's a great way to pile up damage. You do a knee attack, you jump and do a drop attack with Cody's knee, punch him 2 times, grab him, press the punch button 2 more times for a strong knee attack, then throw him. So the idea is that if the sooner you learn that combo, the sooner you're able to pile on a lot of damage onto enemies. Of course, it takes a bit of practice when you're fighting against really strong, dangerous enemies like Andore, because obviously Andore is very strong and he's very likely to grab you on the harder difficulty levels. We have to beat the game to get the cast. Pick up Eddie E's bubblegum. We'll be doing that. The obvious secret is if you pick up, he spits out gum at the start of that boss fight, and if you pick it up, it refills all your health. Easter egg. Play until you get 350,000 points. The music in this game is actually very good. The Super NES version, the Super NES arrangements are pretty good. The Sega CD soundtrack, I think, is really disappointing, but it uses, quote, real instruments, unquote, so people kind of prefer it. It's a Red Book soundtrack, so if you're curious, you can pick up Final Fight CD. used, and you can play the music on a CD player. I would recommend just ripping it to a computer and playing it that way, because old CD games, you don't want to ruin them by putting them in regular CD players. Just strip the music off it, record it, so you can listen to it at your leisure. Don't put video game CDs in your CD player. Those things are too old now. You're going to ruin the disc. It's just not worth it, I don't think. These days, CD-ROMs should only be used for playing games, not for playing music, but that's just me. Anyway, of course, playing them in a CD-ROM isn't much better, is it? You're still going to scratch them. Final Fight spawned numerous spin-offs, including the Game Boy Advance version, which I actually kind of prefer to the Sega CD version, mainly because, again, it has more characters on screen, the controls better, that whole thing. The graphics look a little bit better. Doesn't have the red books. In fact, the music is awful in the Game Boy Advance version, but we'll get to that in a moment. So let's play already. I'm sorry, I spent nearly 10 minutes talking about the game. Let's just play it. It's one of the best melee brawlers I've played. But, of course, being an arcade game, it has the usual problems. Which is to say some of the challenges just BS. In fact, when we get to the factory level, you'll see how terrible it is, but we'll get to that later. And at the center of the problem, I've also played this game. So I played this game on Super NES, obviously. I loved it so much, despite itself. I did an FAQ on it. I'll probably end up doing a move list FAQ later, because I wanted to explain how strong each move is and how many points you get for each move. I've actually included that in the aborted FAQ that I made. Because in this game, score somewhat matters, because that's when you get extra lives. I can hold down the button for the rapid fire attack, which is great. You're going to see me do some stuff like this. You can do that stun lock. You stun lock enemies and you turn away for the body blow. Because remember, you throw 2 punches, your third punch is a body blow. So if you turn away for the body blow, then you can keep an enemy standing up with the stun lock. So you can stun lock enemies in this game. I probably shouldn't have done that. Oh, one other trick. If you connect on the body blow, you can throw the enemy over your shoulder in the opposite direction, and I'll show you that in a second. In fact, let me turn off the rapid fire so I can explain that, because I'm in level 1, the game only gets harder from here. Okay, a couple of other tips Nintendo Power taught me. Turn away from the destructible item, then press towards it, and it should become something more valuable, like a diamond or something. That's only true of the Super NES version, obviously. See, you see what I did right there? On the body blow, as soon as I connected, I threw him in the opposite direction I was facing. That's one way you can do crowd control in this game, because one of the big problems with the crowd control is that enemies will constantly attack you from both directions. So the sooner you can throw someone over your shoulder, the more easily you can control the space. Screen management is incredibly important in this game, and I took a hit there. I hate doing that. Okay, so I got the extra points, because if you pick up the meat, if you pick up the food, when your meter is completely full, you get bonus points. I want to check and see how many points you get for that, but that's definitely worth it. I do recommend using the barrels and destructible items as walls to keep enemies from sneaking up on you, but sometimes they will punch them like that and break them. But let the enemies do that, because it means they're not attacking you, it means they're attacking the things. Missed. Darn it! Knew that was gonna happen. Crap! Knew that was gonna happen. I only have 1 life, too. These guys do not mess around on this difficulty level. They will not let up for a second. One more dude. Whoa! About to say. He's not dead yet. Dead now. Pick up the pipe. And you get 800 points for carrying a pipe at the end of the stage section. You get 600 points for holding a knife, 800 points for holding a pipe, 1,000 points if you're holding a sword. So it's worth it to pick up these weapons and have them in your possession at the end of a stage, or at the end of a stage section, particularly. So even if you don't have to pick them up until the very end of the stage, so long as they're in your hand when that stage ends and the game pops them out of your hand. Okay, see how I threw them over my shoulder like that? That's why I'm doing the body blow. I'm practicing my body blow over the shoulder throws. Now I'm not good enough with my speed, because if you can do if you can stun lock him, you can keep him standing up. Okay, this guy's gonna jump at us in a second. So you definitely want to throw a guy as soon as he does that. Crap. No, dead! God, crap! This is gonna be a problem. There we go. You saw that 2-hit combo I just did in the air? What crap! Wow. Told you it's the hardest difficulty level. I was trying to do a no-death run level 1, but it just didn't work out. That's unfortunate. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so you got to see me get through stage 1. Mostly. Sorry about that. We'll come back and do this later, but I wanted to show you the basics. Consider that a preview. I wanted you to see how I approach this game from level 1, then we'll go back and finish the level a bit later.